Today we're going to be making these shaded candy corn drawings. They're really easy and really fun, and they're really dynamic because of the contrast of the background and then also just the shading that we do around them. So they look really good, okay? And it's only going to take us one day to make them, even though it's a big paper. All right, so what you've got is a blank 12 by 18 paper. They're big. And then you've got your candy corn stencil, okay? You guys are going to be tracing these in pencil to start with and drawing in pencil to start with, but I'm going to do it in Sharpie so you can see. And what we want to talk about first is composition. So you don't want your candy corns all to be going the same direction. We're going to draw 3, 1, 2, 3. In art, a lot of times odd numbers make better compositions than even numbers. So if you have 1 object, 3 objects, or 5 objects, that's going to look better usually than 2 or 4, okay? So your assignment today is 3, all right? And you kind of want to think about where you want to put them. You don't want them all going exactly the same direction. You don't want them all going in a nice little like line, okay? You want them going different directions. So you might want one going here, and then this one might be coming going out of the picture plane, and then maybe one here. Okay, but you got to kind of play with it. All right, so I'm going to start with one right here like this. And again, I'm doing mine in Sharpie. You're going to do yours in pencil first. And I did just kind of make a mistake, so that's why you do it in pencil first. It wasn't a bad mistake. And none of them have to go out of the picture. So this one, it looks like I'm not going to have any going out of the picture. I have plenty of space for all 3 of them. 1, 2, and maybe this one right here, 3. Okay, so there's my composition. They're all going kind of different ways, and they're not like lined up or all the same. Now the next step is to add the 2 lines that divide the candy corn into white, orange, and yellow. But we want these lines to curve because candy corn are not flat. They have kind of a roundness to them. So you're going to curve them like this, and you want them to curve towards the like smile up at the top. Smile at the short end of the candy corn, or the triangle end of the candy corn. Okay, and then this one, smile, smile. Okay, so while you trace these in Sharpie, you also need to write your name right down here in the corner. While you trace these in Sharpie, all right, I'm going to get ready to show you the next step. Okay, your stuff should be traced in Sharpie. Your name should be in the corner like an artist. Okay, our next step is to add our pencil shading underneath our acorns, our candy corns, all right? And what that's gonna make it look like is that it's popping off the page a little bit, okay? It won't be so flat on the page. And I kind of did all of mine down. So this one's down on the side. This one kind of came up and around, but it's still on the underside of it. And then same thing here, it's on the underside. So you kind of want them to match, okay? So the underside on this one would be this side, the underside on this one would be this side, and the underside on this one would be this side. So I might make it go up the side a little bit, but it's gonna be down here for the most part, okay? And I'm gonna start with this one in the middle and just kind of show you. You're gonna take your pencil and you're gonna put kind of a dark shadow right here up the side of your candy corn. This is the side I'm doing it on. Okay, so that part's kind of dark. And then this part is a little bit lighter. And then this part is even a little bit lighter. It's like a value scale. Value scale goes from lights to darks, okay? And then you can even take your finger and very carefully, we're not maybe being crazy with this, and you can kind of blend it, okay? And you'll have a nice little shadow right there, all right? So on this one, I said it's gonna be on the bottom side. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do a dark shadow right here, right up under the candy corn. And then I'm going to ease up on my hand and do kind of a medium value. I'm not pressing as hard on this one. You see how at the end it kind of curves and disappears into the candy corn? It's kind of what you want. And then I'm going to do just another little bit right here. And then I am going to blend it. All right, and then the final one is here. And it's at the bottom. I'm going to bring it around the side here. All right, so when you're done, your finger's gonna look like this. So we're gonna give you a wipey, and you wanna wipe it off just so you don't get fingerprints all over your artwork, okay? The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna very lightly shade the white part. We want just a little bit of shadow along the edges. Our candy corns, we're not gonna shade them very dramatically. Just gonna give them a little bit of shadow. So I'm just doing a little light shadow on each side of my candy corn. And then if your finger's dry, you can also blend those with your finger. I'm not really going to. Okay. All right, since this is white, the rest of that will stay white, and we shaded in the edges with pencil. So that way it would just be a little bit shaded. Now the rest of it we're gonna paint. Okay, and candy corns are orange and then yellow. And I'm going to show you how to do a light color and then some darker on the edges so that it's shaded in, okay? So I'm going to start, I actually start with the yellows because it's a lighter color. So I'm going to start with the yellow. I'm getting my paintbrush wet, getting my yellow paint, okay? And then I'm going to paint that yellow. This is nice art paper, but it's not watercolor paper because of the way that we were shading. I couldn't use watercolor paper, but it'll still be really nice for your watercolors. It's just a little harder to spread than most watercolor paper. So now that I've painted it all in light, I'm gonna come back and get some more paint on my brush with less water. And then I'm gonna make the edges darker. You see how that works? So you do a really light wash, and then you can come back and make the edges darker, and it'll look shaded. Okay, so now I'm gonna rinse my brush, and I'm gonna do the orange one on this. I'm gonna get a lot of water and a little bit of paint, and I'm gonna spread it all out. If it gets hard to spread, I just get more water. Take your time and try to make it kind of even. Okay, and then, like I did the last one, I'm gonna make the edges just a little bit darker. So now it's shaded in, looks good. You've got a light and a dark, okay? And you've got your shadow. So now you're gonna finish these out, and then you'll be done for today. We're gonna put these in the drying rack, and then next week you'll get to take them home.